Elderflower Cordial is really one of the delights of late spring. I'm fortunate to have lots of lovely elderflowers in the garden. I always leave plenty, both for the pollinating insects and for berries later in the year, which the birds also love. You want to pick when the flowers are dry, so pick a sunny morning. You don't want to pick in the rain. That's because that's when the pollen is at its strongest and the scent of the elderflowers will be best, and you'll get the best cordial that way. You want to pick fully opened flowers, snip them off, give them a little shake just to dislodge any insects because you don't want to wash these. That's my elderflowers picked. They really smell beautiful. These flowers just have such a beautiful floral fragrance. You want to use these when they're fresh, so the first thing that you need to do is to bring 1.5 litres of water to the boil in a pan. And this is a recipe that I'm doing that doesn't have citric acid in it, so it has a little bit more lemon juice than some other recipes. So whilst that's coming to the boil, I'm going to prepare my flowers. So you want to snip the flowers off into a bowl, and you want to cut off the green stalks here. You don't have to get every single bit of green stalk off. I'm just putting these in a sieve so that any tiny insects will fall into the bottom that haven't kind of come out with the initial shake. If as you're going through your elderflowers you find any with brown bits on them, you really need to take those brown flowers off because they will give a bitter taste to your cordial. And the flavour from the elderflower cordial comes almost exclusively from the pollen. So if there are any buds that haven't opened, you know, they're not gonna give you any flavour. And if you have the pink versions of elderflower in your garden, you can use those too. If you're interested in gardening, I have a gardening channel called Farley's Cottage Garden, where I'm going to be showing you how I grow a lot of the produce that I'm going to be using in cooking videos on this channel, so do check that out. That's all of my flowers now. I'm going to put this in the compost, and you can hopefully see my little sieve trick has worked. There's quite a few little tiny insects in there. In the meantime, my water has just about come to the boil. I've just turned it off for a moment, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grate three lemons and 1 orange. You want to use unwaxed fruit directly into this pan. You'll be using the juice as well. For a lot of elderflower cordial recipes, what you'll see is that they will either pour boiling water on top of the elderflowers, or they will start with cold water and simmer the elderflowers in the water. Now, I actually find that this method for me is better, because when you simmer the flowers in water, the flowers are really delicate, and simmering them can kind of damage some of those delicate compounds and flavours and oils that are in the flowers and the pollen. I find pouring boiling water over the top, you know, does work as well, but this way for me, I think, is the best of both worlds. Citrus just pairs so beautifully with the elderflower. I make elderberry syrup from the berries as well in the winter, which is great for colds. If you're interested in that, I can also show you how I make that. Okay, so that's my zest of 3 lemons and 1 orange have gone into the pan. I'm just going to quickly bring that back up to the boil. Now that's come up to the boil, I'm just going to turn that heat off completely. Now that the heat's off, you want to put your elderflowers into the boiling water. Give that a stir. Then you want to cover the pan with a lid and leave it somewhere to steep for 12 to 24 hours. Once your 12 to 24 hours are up, you want to strain your juice through a muslin or jelly cloth. It's already taken on a beautiful amber colour from both the flowers and the zest from the citrus fruit. Give the bag a squeeze to get out as much of that juice as you can. I've got about a litre 200 mils of juice, so I'm going to be using about 850 grams of granulated sugar. You can probably add up to about a kilo of sugar for the initial 1.5 litres of water that you added. Really depends on how sweet you like it. There you go, it's about 850 grams of sugar. I'm going to add to that sugar the juice of 3.5 lemons from the lemons that I used yesterday for the zest. So add that in. If you don't have a juicer, I actually find just using a fork like this and squeezing is one of the most effective ways to get the juice out. I'll go back in there and get the pips out in a second. You can do it in the separate bowl, of course. You don't need to fish out your pips, but I'm all for saving the washing up. Next, add your juice back into the pan. And put that on a low heat to dissolve the sugar and simmer just until that's dissolved. Pour your hot cordial into sterilised bottles. My cordial has cooled. I'm just going to try some now with some water. That's really good. It's floral, sweet. You've got a little bit of acidity from the citrus juice and zest. Really refreshing. If you're not based in the UK, I'd love to know if you have Elderflower Cordial there too. Thanks for watching.